The SEC versus Ripple case is over as Torres has given the final remedies ruling. We're going to talk about what this means for Ripple, XRP, and the future ahead.
Due to the graphic nature of this program, listener discretion is advised.
Happy Thursday, everyone. Hopefully the week's treating you well, and look what's up on the screen. It's XRP, the only one deep in the green. But your comments come first. Drop me something hot, something spicy. Maybe I'll share it in the next video. Trucker trashes. Bye-bye, Gensler. Walk on home, boy. Love it. What was I busy doing yesterday? I was live streaming you when the event happened, and then I had to go out for the anniversary. Oh, having some craft drinks hanging out in the town. Bitcoin's in at 57,557. ETH is 2443. Sol is 155, while BNB is at 488. XRP deep in the green at 60.6. XLM got a little bit of pump from the news, but nowhere near as much as before, sitting at 10 cents. Now, there is a lot of news out there in regards to what happened. What does this mean? Is business over? We're going to clear it all up. It all started off like this. My phone went crazy, and Ellen Torres some news. Said Judge Torres has ruled that Ripple shall pay $125 million in civil penalties and stop any further violations of SEC law, putting nearly a 4-year battle with the SEC to rest. Remember, they asked for $2 billion. That's a 94% discount. Oh, we're going to get to Rule 506 here soon. Now, look, here is the action that happened. We watched it yesterday live. There was over 1,000 of you at one time watching it live. It was an insane live stream. We hit 64 cents. And you know what, let's do this. Let's go to the candlesticks. I'll show you what I'm talking about, because we're going to talk about how this affects Ripple, how this affects their sales, how this affects us. This is going to be all the information you need. We're going to swing this on over to the 15-minute candlestick, and you'll see right here, on the initial hit, we hit 64 two different times. From that point on, the best we were swinging at was 63. Okay, so that's on the initial hit. We're not even at 24 hours yet on this. Let's talk about Brad, because Brad came out right away and had to say something good for you, Brad. This is what Brad said, and as always, any article you see in this video will be linked in the description below, and don't worry, 506C is going to be something that you're all going to be happy to hear about. Brad said the SEC asked for $2 billion, and the court reduced their demand by 94%, recognizing they had overplayed their hand. We respect the court's decision and have clarity to continue growing our company. This is a victory for Ripple, the industry, and the rule of law. The SEC's headwinds against the whole of the extra community is gone. Now, Brad is not appealing. I repeat, Brad is not appealing. The SEC can't appeal. They got 30 days to do so, okay? That'd be the worst case scenario, would be the SEC appeals and we drag this thing out for several more years. The way you can tell that Brad and Ripple are not going to appeal is this. In this sentence right here, we respect the court's decision. That is a very proper, a very polite, a really good, clean way of saying, hey, look, the court's decision is what it is. We will not be appealing it, okay? Now, why would Brad and Ripple not want to appeal this? Because some people are like, yo, dude, it's still BS, right? The whole primary sales thing, because that's what this penalty was for, primary sales, okay? The reason Ripple doesn't want to appeal is because it rips that Band-Aid open. Ripple, let's say, would want to do an IPO here soon, right? Who approves the IPO in the United States? The SEC. So you wouldn't want to open it up, right? Open the lawsuit back up and then ask the SEC for an IPO blessing, okay? The other thing, too, you want an XRP ETF. Who approves the ETFs? The SEC. What about all the money that's been sitting on the sideline? Yeah, there's a lot of money that's sitting on the sideline going, hey, we're waiting for the case to be over before we invest. Well, guess what? That money now can invest because it's clear. Everything is over. The case is done. Think about all the companies that didn't want to do business with Ripple because there was an SEC thing. Now they're like, hey, there's no lawsuit. We're good to go. Boom, they jump on in. So there would be really nothing for Ripple to gain by going for an appeal. Now, in terms of that $125 million, they got to pay it here very soon. But remember, Ripple has known that primary sales, right, were a big no-no the way they did it before since July of 23, the 13th of July, because that's when Torres issued summary judgment. See, if you've been following this channel, we've been covering this whole time, so it should be clear to you. If you're new, hopefully this is a good explainer. So we got the initial summary judgment last year July 23 on the 13th, okay? Since then, Ripple knew that primary sales, the way they did it before, were a big no-no. So they've been saving up money this whole time, a whole year. So this penalty is nothing. Let's go on over to Stuart Alderati. A final judgment. The court rejects the SEC's suggestion that Ripple acted recklessly, and she reminds the SEC that this case did not involve any allegations of fraud or intentional wrongdoing, and no one suffered any financial harm. She rejects the SEC's absurd demand for $2 billion in fines and penalties. We respect the $125 million fine that the court has imposed for certain historic sales. So now even Stuart Alderati, right, the big legal guy, right, in regards to Ripple, he's even saying, we respect the $125 million fine. That is him saying, we are not going to appeal. So you are not, I repeat, you are not going to get an appeal from Ripple. This is great news, okay? Now, let's swing it on over to this. The SEC's unhinged campaign against us is finally over. Let's all hope this ends the administration's war on crypto. Well, we got to see how that shakes out here soon, right? Because Kamala's got a crypto panel. We're waiting to see how that plays out. We're also waiting to see what the party's stance is, right? Because most likely Kamala's going to be running against Trump. So we're waiting to see on that. Now, Gare Bear. What did Gare Bear say? Gare Bear didn't say jack shit. Because you know what? Walk on home, boy. Love me some Pantera in the morning, and that's why I had to share Trucker Trash's comment. Because of the lyrics, my guy. I love it. Okay, so now how does this affect XRP going forward? Well, Stuart and Brad already said it. Okay, here, look. They talk about how they didn't do anything of wrongdoing or harm, and the court has imposed penalties for certain historic sales to sophisticated third parties. Essentially what happened was is Ripple is now doing their ODL, their primary, different than what they used to. Okay? So when the judge, and Eleanor even said it right here, said you have to stop any further violations of the securities laws, basically what they're saying is, look, if you do something wrong, we'll tax that ass, but Ripple is doing it completely different than they had in the past, so they're in the clear. They are in the clear. Like I said, the only fear right now is that the SEC appeals and drags this thing out for several more years. Now, in terms of price action, gotta be honest with you, this is very underwhelming. Very, very underwhelming. By now, the entire world has had time to digest the news, and we haven't seen that secondary pump yet. Even more interesting is that the initial ruling, right, saying that secondary market sales are clear, gave us way more of a price pump than we got from this news. In fact, on that day, we were at 47 cents and got up to 93.80. Yesterday, before the ruling, we were sitting just at 50 cents, and the highest we got is 64. Are you serious? That's it? This is all the market has. This thing is over. Again, as long as the SEC doesn't appeal, this thing is over. Why? Ripple has changed their business practices. How can you sell some, unregulated securities? Easy. Get a 506C exemption, where all purchases of the offering are accredited investors. The issuer takes reasonable steps to verify purchaser status, and other conditions in Regulation D are satisfied. I've got them all right here. SEC website. So nothing will change when it comes to Ripple. This is a good thing. But what isn't a good thing is this soft price action. Seriously. We were watching this live, and the first few candlesticks were great, and we're all excited. But when we saw that first rejection at 64, holy crap, we were sitting here going, dude, this sucks. And then it bounced back, and we're like, oh yeah, here we go again, 64. No, and we got rejected at like 64.3. And it was horrible. And so what happened was I told everyone this. I said, look, I'm going to set my alerts, all right, between like that 58, 59, 60 cent range and 64. I set my alerts and my phone never went off once. Yeah, the volume is juicy, right? XRP volume is up insane amounts here, up 300% in the last 24 hours. But for real, that's all we got price action-wise on this Torres final remedies phase ruling. So am I happy it's over? Yeah, you better believe I'm happy it's over, because I was tired of refreshing Twitter all the time, waiting to see if Torres was going to do her action. So at least I don't have to do that. But wow, the price action was underwhelming. And there's a bunch of people out there that are like, well, wait a minute. So that means now that businesses, institutions have to go to the exchanges to buy XRP. This is going to make it more scarce. No, that doesn't mean that at all. All it means is that when Ripple sells to primary investors, they have to make sure they go through all the steps correctly and don't do it like they did before. Okay, that whole Rule 506C about exemptions, that is huge. So that does not change any way that XRP is going to be bought that affects us. And it was very underwhelming on the price hit. And I think either the market is pricing in that Gare Bear and the SEC are going to appeal, or the market is sitting here going, you know what? There's bigger fish to fry right now as global macros suck ass. And I hope that's not the case. I seriously was hoping that Torres finalization of this would just be like the rain cloud lifted away and that we could actually get down to work. But it's still early. We're not at the 24-hour mark yet, and I'm going to keep my eyes and ears open. Today's a recovery day for me because I had a super hard workout yesterday, and then I celebrated an anniversary where I had some drinks and then I didn't sleep good. So yeah, recovery day today. Let me know what you're doing in the comments down below, and I'll catch you cool cats later. As always, choo choo bitches.